Hello, I am Lindsay Ziegenhagen. I'm the founder, CEO of Schoolzilla. We're a public benefit corporation, which basically means we are a C Corp with our social mission in our bylaws. Our mission is to enable people to use data to run great schools for students, especially students from underserved communities. And we do this by enabling people to have quick and easy access to data they need to do their job. We've been around for about 5 years. We actually spun out of a school system where I led data and technology. We have more than 100 districts across the country, from Portland, Maine, to Redwood City, from Achievement First, to St. Louis. The problem we solve for them is, it's back there. The problem we solve for them is when people go to answer a simple question like, what % of our students are chronically absent, or are we doing better than we were last week? It's actually, you need to go to multiple systems to get these answers. So we make it really simple for district leaders, principals, and teachers to get that information. And the reason that it's so hard to get this information is it lives in more than a dozen different systems that a typical school district uses. So this is our current menu. A new customer comes to us, and they're used at least one of these in most of those categories. And what we do is we've created automated connectors to all these systems. We're able to deploy that, pull in the data in an automated fashion, structure it in a way that's optimized for analytics, and then calculate metrics and light them up on Mosaic. If that sounds complicated to you, it is. But we have worked really hard to make that process as simple as possible for the school districts. This is one of the quotes from one of our customers we implemented in March in Ohio. Our dashboard was populated with data within days of beginning the project. The implementation process could not be simpler or easier. Lorraine, actually, the superintendent there, is a new superintendent that came from St. Louis, where they also use Schoolzilla. So can you run the video, please, on the slide? So I just thought I'd show you what it is, because there's a lot of confusion in the market about what is analytics, and everyone obviously has some sort of reports. So I thought I would just show you what our product does. So we start at the district profile. These are the metrics that this fake district with totally fake data has chosen aligned with their strategic plan. So everything from % of students chronically absent to % of students proficient on their benchmark exam. And then every tile works the same way. It answers the 8 essential questions we have learned that people have. What's the metric? In this case, 23.2% of students. How am I doing compared to my goal? Poorly in this case. How am I doing compared to last year? Many of these metrics are really seasonal. And then, okay, I know 23% of students are chronically absent. What about all the other kids? And you can see in this case, more than half of them are actually a couple days away from becoming chronically absent. This is a system-wide issue. And then if I'm going to do an intervention, where should I start? What groups of students are being disproportionately affected by this? Whether is it my English language learners? Nope. Is it some of my school characteristics? And in this case, it's the high schools. And 12th graders not coming to class is very different than a kindergarten class. And you can see which schools are struggling the most with chronic absence. You can click into one of those, and now you're seeing the exact same thing, but now just for University High. And you have learned how to work all of the buttons. Beyond looking at one school, often there are use cases where a principal or a superintendent is looking and wants to compare how schools are doing to find bright spots and problem areas. So we have a view that you can see every school on the left, all those same metrics on the right. They're color-coded based on school level or district level goals. And not only can you sort this, you can also filter it to say, hey, I want to know how our special ed students are doing in all these schools. And you can focus just on how those schools are serving students with an IEP. And you often find different bright spots and problem areas than you would otherwise. And just the way that you may want to look at a list of schools, At the teacher level and the principal level, you want to know which kids are in that, like which kids are the kids that are chronically absent. So we have the same view where you have every student, all the metrics. And the first thing our customers do with this is they want to filter and sort it to focus on either the perfect attendance students, so they can give them a shout out, or in this case, a group of students that are off track. They save that view, and then they can come back to it tomorrow when the data's been refreshed, or next week, and see if there's a different group of students. And we're adding the capability to actually assign an intervention to those students and then track if that intervention is working. And lastly, once you find a student that you're particularly concerned about, or you want to go talk to Ashlyn, or you're about to have a student support team meeting, or meet with a family, now you have all of this data just on one screen. So instead of spending that whole meeting logging into the 5 systems that this data came from, you can spend 1 minute looking at this and the rest of that time talking about the child and about what you're going to do to improve outcomes. Each of those tiles also, as I said, what we call deep dive dashboards. So if you have many more questions than those first 8, and you want to know what day of the week are kids missing schools, or exactly which behaviors are causing the most problems at what time of day, we have a set of dashboards that support that. And then for our most data-driven organizations, we also optionally, they can add the ability to do it themselves and use an off-the-shelf BI tool on top of our data infrastructure to add their own analysis and reports. We are very serious about our values as a mission-driven company, including equity at the center. This is my awesome leadership team. Thank you for your time.